Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan, and it is 1:15 in the afternoon. And you might not understand what I'm doing, but please give me a chance. In front of me is approximately about a dozen hard-boiled eggs. And one of the things that I am saying in my video, the actual video will be released on Sunday night, and in my opinion it's really groundbreaking, and there are a few elements that I haven't filmed yet that I will insert right in the middle of them. Those elements are called the prestige. The prestige, also known as the reveal, is the best part. The best part. You see, right now what I'm doing is peeling eggs, because one of the things that I've realized is that there are many movies that I make in real life, and this is a message directly to Drake, Pierce, and anyone else that wanted to play games. You see, there's a human being named Dan Reeses. That's me, guys, who is doing the most original move of all, and that's I am giving up, because I'll file my motions, but what I'm not going to do is put a single ounce of my care and love and dedication to a relationship, even with my own children, that if they don't want to have it, I will not force them to have it. Which means that when I left my children, before I was illegally separated, my boys adored me. If the alienation process has worked, and they are now angry at me and hate me and don't want me in their lives, I assure you, I will not be the kind of person that will do a single thing about it. I am going to be here 24/7 for my boys. I would love to listen to them. I know that what they're going through is very difficult. But what you need to remember, perfect peel, is that there are really two ways to deal with the situation. There's the civil way, and then there's the effective way. And what I'm doing right now is I'm expressing to everyone at home that after extensive research, I found that there really is no other than boiling water, putting eggs in for 5 minutes longer than you think it takes to boil a hard-boiled egg, and cooling them in ice water for 15 minutes. There is no way to peel an egg in any other fashion, but what there is a way to do is learn and practice. You see, the human being is born with a set of talents that are preordained, predestined for them, if you will. Then there are other skills that require an immense amount of hard work and dedication and can be learned. That's called conditioning. Many people have broken it down to nature versus nurture. And the truth of the matter is, your biology, boys, is excellent. Excellent. Your behavior is excellent. And you are excellent boys. And when you have boys that are literally excellent, and what I'm doing right now is expressing to you that the only way to peel eggs faster is practice. And practice meaning that the egg has to be peeled perfectly with no rips in the white for it to work. And there's a membrane that I'll discuss with everyone regarding as I do it, I learn different tricks and how to get better at it. And at this time, I'm able to very successfully, well, I hope I am. This is YouTube, so obviously I'm going to try to show off. So if anyone's wondering, look at this, perfect separation at this point. So at this point, I was able to not crack 75% of the egg, and it has absolutely zero shells on it, and that really is to make cleaning up easier. And as you can see, the more I do it, the better I get. But the truth is, boys, the real movie that you'll see when you get older, it features a Scottish actor or Irish. His name is Liam Neeson. Now, Liam Neeson is one of my personal favorite actors of all time because of the movie Taken. And in that movie, Liam Neeson very carefully expresses to the human beings who committed a really serious crime against him that he doesn't have a lot of money, but he has a series of skills that he acquired over decades of perfecting his work. You see, boys, I don't play games. And should anyone or anything hurt you, then the Liam Neeson in me will come out. But the Liam Neeson in me that mom and everyone that hates wants to come out in order for them to point a finger is simply not going to be here. Now, if you find yourself in Eastern Europe being kidnapped, I assure you, there is no other person in the world that's better than your father at an international illegal extraction, also known as a reverse kidnapping. That is what the core skill set that Liam Neeson applies to the horrible situation that he finds himself in. Now, in reality, should I have been a horrible human being and a really, really, really nefarious individual, I could have easily orchestrated a series of circumstances where I would have made sure that you boys were in my full custody. Now, in order to do that, I would have to use some skills that I never wanted to use in my life. And because of my intelligence and my general ability to both learn to peel an egg better than I have met anyone peel an egg, and film a YouTube video that's instructional, informative, clear-headed, and excellent. Boys, the standard that I have for you, you've already met. You are incredible kids. I don't want anything from you. I want you to be happy. But I'm not looking to middler in the situation, because your happiness is something that is very, very important to me. You see this right here? I made a big mistake. Because when human beings like myself who find themselves being divorced, not just involuntarily, I am fully okay with being divorced and voluntarily divorced. It is the conflict that comes with divorce that is the byproduct of poor decision making, both by mom's lawyers as well as mom. Now, I am no longer going to invest one single second of emotion towards being separated from you, because there's the law that is 100% on my side, and then there is a certain part of me that is the Liam Neeson that can very easily do a series of maneuvers, both international and domestic, that will lead very quickly to you being in my possession full time, fully legally, without a single ounce of violence, as you see in the movie Taken. You see, I have a particular set of skills. Those skills are running narrative. I also have a particular set of skills that are very similar to those that Liam Neeson has. When you have a dad that has those skills combined, that is the last person on earth whose children you should ever kidnap. When I realized just how talented I am at peeling eggs on YouTube while filming videos, I realized that my goal in life is to be happy. My goal in life is for my children to be happy. There's no possible way that that can happen with conflicts with anyone that they either have in their life or are forced to be around. That is not something that I'm going to do. My brain is too big and my ego is too inflated for me to ever allow my enemies to ever have an ounce of satisfaction. And it saddens me to come to the realization that my boys might choose not to have a relationship with me after being alienated. And the reality is that most men like myself who have experienced some really, really cool events for the sheer fact that they're real men and they've been instructed to have responsibility in protecting other human beings. And if my children choose to be mama's boys, literally, not figuratively, I am not the kind of father that's going to abuse them by making fun of them, calling them names, or isolating them in any way, because their happiness is their happiness, and I will not get in the middle of it. And that's why I call myself a non-middler. There is a level of understanding that human beings lose when they go through immense conflicts with their spouses. That understanding is the perspective that requires you to think beyond the scope of what's best for you, but what's best for your children. And what's best for my boys is for me to be there 24/7 on call for anything that they need, but I will not send them text messages. I will not cry a single tear, and I will not give a single person of satisfaction as to the reality of the pain that I suffered over the last 7 months. Now, you see, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm saying this is because alienation is a two-way street. The actions taken by my wife, ex-wife, and her family, as well as the New Jersey courts, have caused me to feel alienated from my children. Not in actuality where I wouldn't be able to step in and be a father 24/7, but in emotionally, because I have lost the emotional interest in any form of conflict that comes with the territory of being in the middle both of a divorce and a human being who doesn't want to be divorced from you, which means that in actuality, when human beings want to be separated, they take the necessary steps in order to both divide the assets that they have, as well as the communication that's required for should there be future interaction. So for example, if a couple has a dog that they own, they are obviously going to want to both spend time with the dog. In order to do that, they must communicate because the dog can't communicate. But in divorces, couples that find themselves with the inability to communicate use their children. So for example, it is very often in households people say, tell your father or text your father that he needs to. That is not what I'm going to do. And it's very sad that Mel has become that woman that really has that amount of anger, venom, and disparagement. I very calmly did everything I could to try to return the suit. Me and anyone in my company does not check any emails on weekends. Very soon they'll check no emails whatsoever, and there will be only one way to communicate, which is a telephone. Either you're going to send a telephone or you're going to film a motion, because I'm going to require that anyone who is communicating with Miss Resnick, who is the tip of the spear and runs all communications on my behalf, is the person that is in charge of the communications. And when it comes to email, there's a lot of email bullying that goes on when people find out what my email address is and they choose to leave Ms. Resnick off emails. That is because they do not recognize her role as an administrative assistant and a minority partner in various ventures that she is being paid for through equity. That is because these men are sexist. They are threatened by a powerful woman who has the ability to maintain so much control that the principal in the transaction is swayed so heavily by her that there is no ability to do anything until Miss Resnick signs off on it. In a world dominated by men who bully their way and their agenda, a human being like her is a threat, because a woman who has the ability to dedicate herself to a point where she is not even able to see her children, but she continues to do her job without emotion. I couldn't say that with a straight face. Without displaying any forms of unprofessionalism in conjunction with the recognition of what she's going through. Any human being who is a subordinate to a human being that doesn't understand that their emotions are going to be slightly off when their children are illegally taken from them, and that person loves their children more than anything, well, neither relationship is healthy. Neither the boss should be a boss and the subordinate should not be a subordinate. And as the video progresses, I'm able to teach my brain how to both clean up the eggshells as well as how to minimize the amount of steps that are required. You see this little step that I realized? Cracking an egg for peeling doesn't require you to hit it with anything. It requires you to drop it from about 3 to 5 inches. And I'll realize the full perfect drop. It depends on the surface that you're doing it on, but on a 3/4 inch fancy cutting board over here that Miss Resnick bought, if you drop the egg in 3 distinct points, you hit the cleavage fracture point of the egg, at which point you then can use the membrane that is also hard-boiled as really the main, I don't want to say lubricant, but the main mental lubricant for your brain to recognize that if you turn this process into a game, you're not peeling eggs, you're scoring points. And if you have a person that you're with, so for example, Ms. Resnick likes egg salad. She and I have 12 eggs. I will get 6 eggs. She will get 6 eggs. The goal is 3 points are awarded per each category. There is speed, there is shell size, which means that the percentage of shell size, and I'll get into it. See, I almost made a mistake myself because I was so excited that I am 81 to 82% perfected on the methodology of how to best peel a hard-boiled egg without creating a mess. Now this egg right here, this is not hard-boiled enough. And one of the reasons for that is because, one of the reasons also why Ms. Resnick is an amazing assistant is because she thinks of things like getting paper towels where I would never think of that. Now, it's very often that people like my children blame or find fault with you. I do not partake in that, which is why I do not find fault with Jared, your ex-husband, and I have no interest in engaging any conflicts with him. I'm going to do my best to film a series of motions to try to resolve these conflicts. Not for the reasons that you think, which is that I've lost or I'm exhausted or anything like that. Au contraire, mon frère. I have bigger fish to fry and a larger dragon to slay because I've completed what I've started. My goal was to do something that I will reveal in the video that I will post on Sunday night. And over the course of the next 48 hours, I will continue to not peel eggs, but see the world in a way where peeling eggs is no longer a chore, but rather the best way for me to coordinate the constructive element of this channel, which is I'm looking to teach my boys a lesson. And that lesson is very simple. I ain't no bitch, boys. And what that means is that it doesn't matter what age you are, I ain't no bitch. I'm not trying to be cry emojiing, no more heart emojis, none of that nonsense. Boys, you know exactly where I am, you know exactly who I am, and you know exactly who you are. You are rhesus men. You are little men, very, very tiny, can fit into great spaces. If I was a heist organizer, I would definitely utilize Pierce and his ability to get into small spaces right now, and his ability to be quick on his feet. See, this one is not hard-boiled enough yet, but that is more than enough eggs to complete the task. It is perfectly clean. The eggs are perfect. Ms. Resnick, can you please confirm that these eggs are perfect and of standard and ready for...
Wow.
Okay.
Excellent job.
Excellent. Excellent is the only standard that I'm looking for in love. If I'm not able to get excellent, I don't want it. You don't have to placate me. You don't have to pretend to spend time with me if you don't want to spend time with me. I love you, boys. Love is not conditional. There's nothing you need to do. Literally nothing. I have done everything I can. I do not answer emails. And text messages will most likely not be really responded to because I can't really confirm whether or not it's you or mom texting me. So I have no interest in engaging in a fake communication with a robot. Mom and I gave birth to 2 beautiful boys. That is the one and only standard that I expect. Excellent. My name is Daniel M. Rhesus, and I hope that you have enjoyed today's introductory video into how to be a human being, a father, and a man, in spite of all the cocksuckers around you becoming complete cowards overnight, all in the face of you showing that for a few days you might be broke. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan Rhesus, and in my opinion, this video has been excellent.